Today on the Topping Show, Matt Walsh reacts to a woman on EBT cards buying over $1,000 of junk food and still having 12 grand on the cards as well. Serena Williams is very upset over a hotel display of cotton. Des Moines school district leader was arrested by ICE for overstaying his visa for decades. BMW says they are committed to continue making sedans. And Hyundai recalls nearly 600,000 vehicles. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-add reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, see your founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. Tease me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapters. You can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends and your enemies, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have some good news. BMW is committed to making sedans, which is a rare thing since so many of these automobile companies are going to SUVs and crossovers because, well, there's a lot of demand for those things, and also they make a lot more profit on those versus these small compact cars and sedans. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Jeff Perez, who's a writer at Motor1.com. And he says, quote, BMW is still committed to sedans, the core of the brand. According to BMW, the sedan isn't going anywhere. And here you can see one of the BMWs, the Beamer's on screen right there with, apparently it does have turn signals, which talk about a lot of people talk about not having fulfillment to their job and that their job doesn't matter. Just remember, there's someone in Germany whose job is to install the light on a turn signal for a BMW vehicle, which will not be used 97.85% of the time, which is a totally real statistic I didn't just make up on the spot. I'm only partially exaggerating that statistics, perhaps. Now, again, going to the article, credit to Jeff Perez at Motor1.com. He says, quote, SUVs have dominated the American market for well over a decade, with half of the 20 best-selling vehicles in the U.S. last year being SUVs. While many automakers have abandoned sedans in favor of more profitable crossovers, BMW isn't ready to give up the traditional four-door just yet. In an interview with Auto Australia's Go Auto, BMW emphasized that sedans remain a vital part to the brand lineup. Oliver Heimler, the man behind BMW's new class design language and the former head of Mini Design, which, for those who don't know, BMW actually bought out Mini, I believe, over 20 years ago. If you saw a Mini on the road, as long as it wasn't the vintage one from 67 years ago, it was made by BMW Group. Now, he said, again, man leading the design, he stated that sedans are still a core of the brand. He specifically said, quote, a couple of years ago, you might have thought that a sedan is something that might disappear, but it's quite stable. To be honest, now it's something we are setting a statement. We have said BMW is standing for sedans. A small, sporty, elegant, mid-sized sedan is the core of the BMW brand. Which, yeah, I would say so. I mean, well, you could argue motorcycle engines, but, historical puns aside, and, aircraft engines. But, yeah, in terms of what I know BMW for, though I've never had the privilege of owning one of those things, it's fun sports cars, which is why I find it so abhorrent. A couple of years ago, the CEO of the M Group, which is the performance division of BMW, said that, oh, yeah, we don't really worry about stick shifts. We don't need those. They're not as fuel efficient. Which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in the auto industry, which is saying something. The head of the performance division of BMW saying, oh yeah, we'll just do automatics because it's more fuel efficient. Again, I'm not saying zero, but maybe 17 people who ever purchased a sports car have given a damn about fuel economy, especially at BMW. You're not buying BMW for fuel economy or reliability. You're buying it because it's a fun, loud, fast car for the track. It's a experience. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was the most asinine thing I've ever heard. But nevertheless, continuing the article, they say, quote, BMW still has one of the most comprehensive sedan lineups among luxury automakers. Models like the 3 Series, 4 Series, Grand Coupe, 5 Series, and 7 Series remain top contenders in their respective segments, and more sedans are on the way. After the launch of the iX3 SUV, BMW plans to introduce an electric i3 sedan. I'm sorry, I thought this was a stand-up comedian. That's not a joke, apparently. Yeah, it was sad. Last time there was a BMW Expo, because they sponsor the half marathon in Dallas every year, Dallas, Texas. It's an instance where they show all the cool cars. And yeah, was it after, was it 2 or 3 years ago, they didn't have a single stick shift, performance, M2 coupe or, M2 or M3. They're all automatic, and then they're mostly electric. Kind of gives you insight to what companies thinking when cars are showing everyone that they want to brag about. They're not the true hardcore enthusiast models, which is kind of disappointing. But nevertheless, they say that, quote, followed by a 3 Series with a new traditional internal combustion engine, that'll be good because those actually make money and profit. Again, these car companies lose billions on EVs every year. Tesla being the only company that makes a profit on EVs. Granted, you could also argue because of government subsidies and emission credits that they sell. How much of a profit do they really make? But I understand. But yeah, all these other companies like Ford lost 4.8 billion on EVs in 2024, on track to lose 5 billion. So yeah, they absolutely need to make a gas version of this vehicle as well. I'm glad BMW isn't that silly. You see, the company has also confirmed that new performance variants are in development, along with upcoming updates to the 5 Series and 7 Series in years ahead. In the same interview, Oliver Heimler added that BMW's design language will soon become, quote, way more subtle. While the signature kidney grille will remain, the size and shape may vary, suggesting the overall grills seen on current 3 and 4 Series models may be phased out. He also said, quote, different markets are reacting differently to the proportion. We always try out different kinds of shapes. BMW is always testing if customers' change in taste is also changing as well, unquote. Which, yeah, some people have given them a lot of shit for the, comically large kidney grills on the last, especially the M3, which, I got a lot of critique, but part of me likes to celebrate it just because it's so weird and goofy, and you can get them in green, which I'm a big fan of fun, weird scales cars. And again, I think BMW is making some of the designs of the cars similar with the EV version versus the gas version. I think that's an interesting idea. Not a lot of people, not a lot of other companies are doing it, so I give them some credit to trying it out. But I think, again, there's such a different type of purchaser when it comes to the vehicles of an EV versus a gas car. I think the people who want the gas cars, the fun cars, they want something that's more unique and different. No one wants to have like a Chevy SS, which was a great car, but looks so similar to the Chevy Malibu. You didn't know it was an SS unless you were an enthusiast. You can see like the Brembo brakes, it's slightly different body paneling, slightly. And the hardcore enthusiast liked it, appreciated that, but like, mass appeal and the sales never picked up for the Chevy SS, I believe in part because it just looked too similar to the other vehicles, which again, if you're a gearhead, you can tell. Obviously, I can. I would love to have a Chevy SS. Those things are really cool. I mean, it was a V8 stick shift sedan in the era, which again is getting rarer and rarer. But yeah, it's good to see that BMW is not acquiescing to, SUVs. And, me, I've never bought an SUV except maybe a Porsche because they had a stick shift variant years ago. And my vehicles will always have 3 pedals, knock on wood. It's the only way to have fun and I would say smile ear to ear when you're driving. But again, some good rare news for the automotive community. And gotta give BMW credit. They have a lot of fun cars. They do have a lot of fun colors as well. And again, when it comes to a straight 6 engine, they've perfected that platform for decades. So I'm glad to see some companies not completely leaning into the SUVs and crossovers and trucks. Although maybe I'm saying too soon. Maybe tomorrow BMW has a truck, which, I mean, who knows? It's not all around the possibility, but let me hear your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Cultural Part podcast, you have Matt Walsh reacting to a woman spending over $1,000 on junk food with EBT and apparently having over $12,000 left on her EBT card. Because, of course, our taxpayers will pay for it. Our tax dollars go to everything except hard work. It boggles my mind. I'm so frustrated with how little we get from paying taxes. And you say people who have full grocery cards who don't have jobs. It's ridiculous. Now, says first, actually reposted thanks to Wall Street Apes. Now, he says, quote, a woman on EBT food stamps makes $1,500 per trip grocery hauls and still has $12,087 left on her EBT card. It's like a used Honda right there. A pretty darn good used Honda. That's insane. And yeah, as most people struggle to make a living and struggle to make groceries and put a budget together, she's buying all this crap. It is disgusting.
We should not be subsidizing obesity.
Well,
actually, quick critique on that, Matt Walsh. Now, I'm not going to blame him specifically, but a lot of the mainstream conservative podcasters a couple months ago, they're all standing up for big soda. I say that because it was pretty clear who was getting incentivized indirectly from those major manufacturers. Because again, RFK Jr. and Trump, they have some ideas of, well, if you're on government handouts, maybe you shouldn't buy soda, which is just high fructose corn syrup in a bottle or can. There's really no health upside. It makes you more unhealthy, makes you sluggish. really doesn't improve your life in any way. You get calories, but they're not good calories. Well, maybe we shouldn't allow people on government handouts to buy things like soda pop. And conservatives are like, oh no, it's freedom, America. You should be able to buy junk food. I don't know why I kind of default to the accent. I mean, I was going to say I'm from Texas. I wish. I was born in Texas. I got here eventually. But they're like, oh yeah, it's all about freedom. You should be able to buy whatever junk food you want. Because America. No, you're on government handouts, which again, were supposed to be temporary. That was the intention, though conspiratorially, I would argue most government handouts are used to hook you on the system so that you vote for bigger and bigger government and get more and more free stuff. And it don't actually help you long term. Some people might, you could argue it was good intention, but the cliche saying is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Conspiratorially, I almost think the government uses it to bribe voters. But yeah, they were saying big soda, you should be able to buy that. No, if you're on government handouts, it should be temporary, it should be healthy food only. And yeah, it shouldn't be helping the sales for Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. But let's see what maybe she picked some healthy stuff. I can't even say that with a straight face. I was about to say, maybe she picked very smart, responsible things that she was able to purchase on the EBT cards that you and I paid for. Obviously, she didn't. I take it back. She made one smart decision. One, I think.
Subsidizing obesity.
Welch Juices got 2 cases of these.
Which, no offense to Welch's, necessarily. Not intended. However, a lot of those juices are almost like a derivative of juice. Kind of like grape drink that Dave Chappelle brought to the forefront of cultural phenomenon decades ago. Those juices, well, if I was a millionaire, I'd have a fancy juicing machine to squeeze real fruit and stuff. But like, all those juices are mainly sugar. And if you look at the ingredients, if the first thing is after water is high fructose corn syrup, hell no, I would never buy that juice for kids or myself. It's candy in a bottle. But I partially digress. And if you cannot see this, I'm sorry, I should put a visual disclaimer on the screen, perhaps. She's a very large woman. In this case, she's African American. Though granted, I don't have much ground to stand on. I look like this. So, depending on your viewpoint, maybe she's more attractive than me. Who knows? I do not think so. But nevertheless, back to her haul from the grocery store. And she proudly says on the screen, $1,500 EBT haul. Just checked my card and had $12,087 in food stamps. Which, God, that's criminal.
About
is very much morbidly obese.
some Sam's grain chips.
So, high fructose corn syrup and corn. Okay.
Say that better.
2 terrible choices.
They got these chips.
3 terrible choices. I guess low blow to PepsiCo or PepsiCo Frito-Lay. PepsiCo owns Frito-Lay, which is like 68% of the salty snack aisle. Fun business fact of the day. So she got a variety pack of Doritos, Lay's, Ruffles. So just mostly air, lots of salt, and yeah, basically, and oil. A modicum of nutrition, I'd argue none.
They got these chips.
0 for 3 smart choices thus far. Again, she's a mom. She's got lots of lots of kids. I was about to say baby daddies. I don't see any on the screen, but it's an instance where, especially for kids, you gotta be more careful of nutrition and what they're putting in their bodies.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So, just high fructose corn syrup poured on top of cornmeal. Not cornmeal. What is that made of? Wheat. So more candy. So 0 for 4 smart choices. And again, as a kid, I had fancy cereal from time to time. It's not good for you. It's not a good choice. And it's overpriced. All right.
Ballpark hot dogs.
What do you think? Is that an okay buy? I don't really think hot dogs are the pinnacle of anyone's health choices, but relative to their purchases, maybe give her a 1 win, kinda.
Some teriyaki, teriyaki noodles.
So, more salt, very little nutrition. Okay. Put that in lost section.
Some kind of
Doritos, a special edition Doritos? Yeah, it's gonna be an epic fail as well.
a pack of ground beef.
There. I'll give her credit. That's one good choice for your family. One good choice. Again, it's one of those things where if you budget wisely, well, I guess they don't have to. She's got all the money in the world. She's got thousands of dollars, but yeah, just raw ingredients, that's great. it's been a couple years. I've been blessed and working hard. But years ago, I lived below the poverty line. You just buy raw ingredients from the Walmart. You meal prep. Is it fun? No. Is it the best tasting stuff in the world? No, but it is healthy options for you. You got one good thing. What did she say that is?
It is on the States.
What? Is that the... This corn dog? Yeah, no, it's going to be a fail. Sausage. Wait, no, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Sausage. No, pancakes and sausage on a stick. Only in America, folks.
Pancakes on the States. Seasoning salt.
What? Sea salt? Oh, seasoning salt. That's not bad.
Seasoning
Again, too much salt's going to be bad for you, but...
salt. Pickles.
What? She's got money for a store. That's not even... Yeah, she's paying for the brand. The Mount Olive. That's fancy pickles, too. People like me get the Walmart brand stuff. It's great value. Pun intended, that's the name of the product line as well.
Pickles.
She's got fancy pickles, which... I mean, it's a lot of salt, but I would argue pickles could be a healthy snack. There's not really any nutrition in them, though. And again, I appreciate pickles. Every once in a while, I love to get some. But, like, you're not going to grow big and strong kids if they just eat pickles. Well, maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. That's a neutral one.
Powdered donuts.
F-, the dumbest food you can buy. Especially when you look at the ingredients of all this crap, the amount of stuff that you can't pronounce, and Lord knows what it does to your body. Like, when was the last time I had powdered donuts? 18 years ago? Even 19? I don't get out much. I eat very consistently healthy, cheap foods. But yeah, powdered donuts for the kids. She doesn't have one. What is that? How many is that? You gotta look beyond the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a multi-pack of powdered donuts. Jeez.
Powdered donuts.
I mean, I got hypertension just from watching it. I died of a heart attack, came back to life, and then got diabetes and died again, then came back to life again, all while we were watching them. Nothing but processed junk food. Yep. Nothing, no real food. This goes on for 4 or 5 minutes. This woman.
We have to stop you there, Matt. Again, the beef is good. As Wendy's would say, where's the beef? She got the beef.
Showing off all the stuff she bought. She bought a truckload of stuff with EBT, and none of it is food.
I mean, none of it is also healthy or fulfilling for the kids. And a lot of that junk food, you're going to get hungry again. And again, if you are making your own money and you want to buy that crap for your body, I don't care. That is your own business. Right? If you want to do that to your body, go for it. It's America. But again, if you're on government handouts and I'm paying for it, that's where I'm going to cause a ruckus. Well, not really. I'm going to complain on a YouTube channel, 15 people watch, and 3 people watch on the Rumble. Thank you for subscribing. I'm only partially kidding. But it's an instance where the number one objective every time I talk to friends or peers when it comes to, diet and exercise, everyone always has a bullcrap excuse that makes my blood boil, saying, well, if you're poor, you can't afford to eat healthy. I hate that excuse, especially nowadays with the price of fast food. I mean, now you got to spend real money just to eat crap fast food. That's why I don't eat fast food. It's an instance where, again, I lived below the poverty line. Back in my day, a 2-pound bag of carrots was under $2 at the Walmart. And yeah, as I'm one of those weird guys where that would be a snack when I was at work, as a bag of raw carrots. Not even that dressing, which again isn't healthy for you. Just a bag of raw carrots. I don't think anyone's going to believe me. I'm a weird guy. That legit is a snack when I'm on road trips as well. Because again, it's simple, healthy, and shoot, all you have to do is, well, they come pre-washed these days. You can wash it a little bit extra. You just throw a little Ziploc baggie, throw it in the cooler, you got a road trip snack. Also, if you want back again, inflation is abhorrent. I blame Democrats and Republicans for destroying our country. I mean, back in my day, I would get a big old jar or a can of Hunt's pasta sauce. And back in the day, it was 79 cents. Now it's like $1.85. It's insane. And it boggles my mind how much inflation is destroying the middle class and everyone in the United States. Again, I just buy a big old thing of Hunt's pasta sauce. I get the cheapest pasta. And that would be a lot of my meals when I was in college. I get a loaf of bread for under real bread. I got lucky. Iowa has some great local bakeries. And you pay a little bit more. Obviously, it's more expensive than Wonder Bread, but it was still a pretty good price per unit. Back in the day, I mean, even nowadays, certain vegetables as well as fruit is cheap. Now, if you want a Honeycrisp apple, gosh, to me, that's a special occasion. Those things are like, what is it, multiple dollars per pound. It is preposterous. But you can still get cheap, was it not Pink Lady, but there's another Granny Smith apple, Red Delicious apple, which is ironically named Red Delicious because I would argue they're not really as delicious as the other brands, or rather more accurately, the other kinds of apples. Bananas are cheap as all heck, and fun fact, the number one thing Walmart sells. Bananas are really cheap, great source of potassium. You have natural sugars, which is good for you. It's not processed, it's just a damn banana. That's a great snack for a kid. That is what I had as a kid back in the day. And every once in a while, I always think of terms of life in fiscal quarters because I'm kind of a business nerd. Like once a fiscal quarter, my mom, maybe every other fiscal quarter, my mom would get, a multiple pack of the Dorito chips things from like Sam's Club. That was a rare occasion. And again, this is not just irresponsible uses of tax dollars, it's hurting these kids. I'm making fun of her weight a little bit. She's morbidly obese. She might have some underlying health issues. And I have friends who, again, there are some people where it's hard to lose weight. Sometimes they're disabled. There are certain diseases. I understand that. And if someone's trying to lose weight, I will always commend them, always give them encouragement. If you're a guy, it kind of helps to make fun of a friend a little bit just to get motivated. For many men, that does help. But everyone is different. But I always commend someone for losing weight and getting their health together. And in instances where, again, she might be overweight because of those things, but for a vast, overwhelming majority of Americans, we're the fastest country on the planet, is because of lack of a good diet and lack of any exercise. And these health options that they're using right now are terrible. Now, again, RFK Jr. is dramatically limiting this. I think that's a great thing. I think it actually will help make America healthy again. There's also rampant corruption when it comes to EBT and food stamps. Like grew up in the Midwest. I mean, there's a whole secondary market where, like, if someone, let's say, keep it simple, if the government gave you $100 in EBT food stamps, you can go and sell it to a guy in the corner for like 70 or 60 bucks, something like that. So you get cash for them, then they would get, the whole $100 value when they go to the store and buy whatever they wanted. It's a whole industry in and of itself, and there's so much corruption. And again, I would argue it's hurting these people. They're becoming lifetime abusers of the system. Again, not everyone, but there are far too many who stay on those systems for life. And it just destroys their health. Again, she made one good choice in terms of a food product as a mom right there. Like the ground beef, that's great. Raw ingredients, actual food. And again, America's got some issues with the food supply. A lot of the crap we eat is terrible for us. There should be no reason why bread has 39 different ingredients that you can't pronounce. Now, if you're like me, you can't pronounce anything, so that's not saying much, but the average person should be able to pronounce what the hell's in their food. And there's a reason why you can eat the same things here and then go overseas, eat the same thing in terms of the category of product or food, and you actually lose weight overseas. It's because the food overseas is so much healthier for you because there's less crap in it. And I think Americans, especially right now, I can't be the only one who works, I know I'm a little bit of a nerd. I can't be the only one who uses Microsoft Excel, which I joke with my engineers and say that is a database. It's not, but I like to poke fun at them. I mean, I'm not the only one putting a budget together that actually breaks down the food, am I? I know so many Americans that are struggling right now. And I remember there's been times in my life where you get that checkout and maybe you picked up one extra food item and you see that dollar amount at the checkout. This is due. You got to put something back because you can't afford it. Maybe you have to put back 2-3 items. That was one of the most difficult moments in my life. I still remember there was a time in right after college, I tried to check out groceries at the Hy-Vee, which is a very popular food chain or grocery store in the Midwest, and I couldn't afford it. It was declined insufficient funds. And I looked at my account, oh behold, I had like $7 and something and change. And thankfully, I was as one of the few instances where I was not very religious and overly analytical about my budget. But yeah, that's heartbreaking. And there's so many people that are doing the responsible thing and working like hell, putting a budget together, abiding by your budget, putting a grocery list together. Yeah, people who are spending $1,500 of our taxpayer money on one trip. Now, again, it's not just her. She has family. That's also something the government's made worse in terms of incentive mechanisms, in terms of certain instances where they actually incentivize the breaking up of families. It's one of those things where this is not sustainable. Our country is $37 trillion in debt. Now, I know this is not the number one thing on the U.S. budget, but I also can't think help us see parallels to the metaphors of what this is to our country in terms of corruption and hardworking people getting screwed over for people who aren't working too hard. People who are spending, she has $12,000 on food stamps. I'm still befuddled. I can barely articulate anything, which is saying something because I usually can't at all. But 12 grand of food stamps that she still has left, and she spent $1,500 on one trip. It's insane. And conspiratorially, some might argue, does the government want this? Because it creates more people who are on diabetes, more people who are on government assistance. So now they need not only the government to assist them with their food, but now they need medical assistance from the government. So they're even more dependent on that government. These days, I don't think that conspiracy theory is out of the realm of possibility. It creates more and more people who are multiple dependent on the government for their food, for their health care. And this food just makes people more and more unhealthy. It's terrible. And maybe I'm foolishly optimistic. I feel like, in part, thanks to RK Jr. and more of a national discussion around nutrition and the stuff they put in there, from the dyes to the chemicals, I think we're having a culture shift in the United States. We're really starting to wonder and ask questions, why is this crap in our food? And we are having some laws to remove some of these artificial dyes and ingredients from our food as well. Now, in terms of pros versus cons, one of the best philosophers ever, economic professor Thomas Sowell, once said there's no such thing as solutions, only trade-offs. So my concern, I hope it doesn't come to fruition, but one of the reasons why perhaps our food is the cheapest in the world, which again, our food is still very expensive, partially because of the erosion of the value of the US dollar, but could our food increase in price because these artificial dyes and chemicals they put in the food to decrease the cost of the food? So if we have more natural food, could the cost go up? It will be interesting to see how that happens in practice. Once more of these things start coming to the market, but that could be another stressor on the U.S. economy and U.S. households. So it'll be healthier for us, but it'll cost a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I think especially now, people are just tired of having the government steal from them. I mean, geez Louise, the income tax, the property tax, the gasoline tax, the alcohol tax, tobacco tax, telecom tax, internet tax, water tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax. I mean, car registration, property, they're taxed to death. Most people can barely make it. And you have people with $12,000 on an EBT card. That is insane. That is disgusting. Now, perhaps I'm alone in this analysis. Maybe everyone in the comments are going to give her accolades, saying something to the effect of "you go girl" or something. Probably not, but let's dive into the comments. Now, it's got about 720,000 views and 15,000 likes. One of the first comments comes to us thanks to Mirthful Moments, saying, quote, "Two types of shoppers. Yep. One is a full cart and says no job, and the other one is a cart with barely anything in it, and that says job," which, yep. And being I was about to say proud. Not really proud, but I am a Walmart shopper, and always entertaining for the people watching over there. And I always stand out because I'm usually the one guy wearing a suit the whole store because, well, time is a very, very valuable thing. So I usually grocery shop if I'm on the way back from customer meeting for time optimization. But nevertheless, yeah, there are certain instances where you could tell, like, oh yeah, that cart, that can't help but think you're on government assistance just by the choice of the products in your cart and the quantity in it. Because again, I mean, having a full cart these days is so damn rare. And that got 474 likes. Let's see. Crypto Text says, continue having children with different unemployed men. And it's like the recycle logo. It says, and then the arrow goes to never contribute to society, collect welfare, and EBT. It says blame white people. Now, again, there's no evidence that she's a single mom. We don't know that. It was just presumably a mother and her kids in the kitchen unloading the groceries that they got from the store. Again, statistically, yeah, probably, maybe. Now, the Goblin King says 12 F and K. 12K, but those of us who actually F and work can barely afford groceries half the time. What the actual F? Getting 290 likes. Yep. Yeah, $12,000. I can't get over that number. That's a nice used Honda Civic. Just got my parameter for like cost. Also have, what's this? Agent Provocateur. It says Political Science 101. It's a cartoon of a white gal saying, quote, "Today we're going to learn about communism. Dear leader, now that you've taxed the rich out of existence, how about redistributing the wealth?" And the leader goes, "No." And she goes, "And that's how communism actually works." Okay, 155 likes. Yep. New York City is might just find out that the hard way. Let's see. Patriot Aaron says, quote, Mice die in mouse traps because they don't understand why the cheese is free. The same thing happens with socialism, getting 170 likes, 181 likes, going up like a stock. Got a lot more compilations of the juxtaposition of the picture of the grocery cart with many groceries and says no job. Then grocery cart with no or barely any groceries says job. Let's see. Scrolling down more and more. Miss B has the meme or the cartoon where you have the guy going kind of like the Lion King. He goes up top of the hill. He says something. He says, "Believe the science." The leftists are smiling, and he goes, about the risk, about the health risk of obesity, and the whole crowd gets angry, getting 29 likes. Which, again, one of the number one ways Americans die is from preventable diseases from obesity. It is insane. That got 29 likes. Let's see. Oh, Owl Pellets says, "Don't mess with their rights to gluttony." There's an AI generated picture of a very large African American woman yelling, standing or holding a grocery cart labeled EBT, getting 49 likes. And again, a lot of white folks are also on EBT. A lot of people bring up the fact per capita, but again, in terms of number of white folks, there are a lot of white people who are also on government assistance as well. Derek Evans says she should get her fat ass off the couch and get a job, getting 138 likes. Now, again, why would she though? If you're getting $15,000 per grocery trip, why would you get a job? Especially if you get Section 8 housing, especially if you get other unemployment or other government benefits. Now, there are whole Reddit, it's fascinating. There's a whole culture of scamming the government. And it's an instance where they'll actually tell you, oh yeah, you can't let your husband get a job because then you won't qualify for certain Section 8 things like the housing for free or some of these government handouts. They know the system. Like if they were to get a job, maybe that's why a lot of people don't get jobs, because they get the government assistance. They get paid more to do nothing than to do something. Obviously, it's not good. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see. Dan Braibos says, quote, "Matt Walsh hit the nail on the head. EBT has turned into a taxpayer-funded buffet for junk food hoarders. $1,500 hauls of soda, chips, frozen garbage while working Americans can't afford real groceries is beyond insulting. It's not feeding the hungry, it's subsidizing diabetes and obesity. And seeing someone flex over having $12,000 left on their card, that's robbery in plain sight. The system isn't broken, it's rigged to reward gluttony and fraud while the people who foot the bill get screwed. EBT should be used to buy steak, eggs, veggies, milk, real food, not truckloads of processed trash." Absolutely right. Got 289. Let's make it 900. Whoa, 303 likes. Which, yeah. Again, eggs are pretty darn good ROI from a health nutrition perspective. You can get them for, well, now pretty damn cheap. There's a little while where the egg prices spiked, partially because the last administration ordered farmers to kill a lot of chickens. But nevertheless, in general, eggs are very cheap. Vegetables are very cheap. Milk's usually pretty cheap. Kind of high in sugar, so I'm not really a big fan of it. But nevertheless, a lot of the raw ingredients are cheap. Is it kind of a pain in the ass to food prep? Yeah. It's not glorious. It takes effort. It might not taste as good as the bioengineered crap is designed to be addictive and delicious. However, I would argue you can make some really good healthy food options. My dinner is usually just, was it? Again, it's not like they're endorsing me or isn't an advertisement for them. But I usually like the cheapest Walmart beef or John Soules beef. They get in the frozen section. Get some Walmart branded egg whites. Get some Walmart branded low fat cheese. Get a Walmart branded, what is that? The burrito wrap. Just heat that stuff in the microwave. Add a little bit of Walmart grade salsa, and you're good. And salsa is, well, I think the one that gets little or no sugar. It's about 20 calories. Obviously, pretty high in sodium. But work out 2 hours a day, so I could use some salt. But nevertheless, that's pretty damn cheap, and it tastes pretty damn good. And I'm really OCD, or whatever you want to call it, Rain Man, when it comes to my budget and my food and my diet. I'm pretty on a tight regiment. Just eat the same thing every day. It tastes delicious. And yeah, just Walmart groceries. It's pretty simple. Anyone can do it. But yeah, let's see. You also have, Brother Gary. Saying, quote, Romans 128k, and even as they did not like to retain God in the language, God gave them over to reprobate mind, and those who are, to do those things that are not convenient. Gain 20 likes. Mindy MF Robinson says, quote, "The government is rewarding them for not succeeding in toxic grocery store food slop designed to kill them, getting 123 likes. 126 likes. Yep. Brian T says, notice they always use a black person for an example, but whites use more food stamps and assistance than anyone. Yeah, no, I mentioned that earlier. Let's see here. Now, he did get was he ratioed? He was not ratioed, but the top response to him was from Mr. Magnus, saying, quote, if you have videos of whites spending $1,300 on food stamps for junk food, I'd be happy if you were to share that, getting 10 likes. Which, there is kind of a social media phenomenon of certain folks sharing their EBT hauls and bragging about it, which I don't know why you're bragging about it. You didn't earn it. Nevertheless, Shane Frazier says, quote, I'm so effing sick of paying taxes so trash can get fatter, getting 101 likes. Yep. Let's see. Colonel Maga Mark says, I don't give a crap whether it's chips or baled hay. No American with 0 to 10 children should receive this much in food assistance, getting 112 likes. Which, again, there's a thing where I think people do need help from time to time, obviously. I think privately, in terms of local nonprofits, churches, as well as your community, can help them infinitely more effective than the government. The government, you also there's really no feeling of community and paying them back. That's why so many people are entitled with these government handouts. They don't feel like, it's just a check from a government employee they never meet. Chris Wilson says, anytime I see someone with a full grocery cart, I just go ahead and assume I'm paying for it. Getting 34 likes. Yep. Jakey says, beans and rice, welfare food should be nothing more than that. Getting 47 likes. Yep. How much did I pay for my Walmart brand? The Great Value Black Beans. Was a can 97 cents? I forget. But yeah, they last. Beans and rice. Kind of cliche, but yeah, I had that growing up. I'm Cuban. If you've seen this a couple times, beans and rice, man. And Dave Ramsey pontificated that perfectly. When you're on a budget, beans and rice, cheap, healthy, one of the best ROIs when it comes to food. Let's see, one more. Kentucky Patriot Girl says, quote, what I'd like to know is how do these people get so much on EBT while seniors and disabled people get $23 a month and struggle to survive? Something is not right here. I get that large families are going to get more, but this is very disproportionate, getting 184 likes. Yep. Now, the real question is, will the government ever slow down the spending? Again, RFK Jr. is trying to redirect it, so to say, so it's actually to healthy food. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, I think a lot of people are just getting fed up, and especially when you can barely make ends meet, you see everyone else. I think this will have political ramifications if they don't stop all this spending. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Serena Williams, who is irate that there's a cotton display at a hotel, even though a couple years ago she had a cotton display at her place with the fancy modern art. So, hilarious hypocrisy. Now let's go back to thanks to Colin Rugg. He says, quote, Serena Williams speaks out against cotton decoration at New York City hotel, saying it doesn't make her feel great. This is Serena Williams wearing a weird looking suit. Nevertheless, maybe she'll give us a very articulate, smart reason as to why she doesn't like plants indoors. Obviously, well, she won't, but we'll hear what she has to say.
So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural. All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great.
I guarantee you she was the only person to ever have that thought at a hotel. Also shows that shows how you have money. You go to a hotel with real plants. Yeah, you got the hotels with real plants. You got the hotels with fake plants. You got the hotels with nothing. I usually am more down here, but that's just me. Now this is her at her house a couple years prior.
Hello, AD. Welcome to my home. Come on in. This house for a really, really long time. I actually worked with my sister Venus. Get inside my brain and pick my brain and show you my vision. And I didn't want to lose that aspect, but I also didn't want a formal living room. And I was just trying to decide, what do I do? Now, I love art and I love, all kinds of artists, and I find it really cool. So I was like, what if I had a formal living room, but instead of it being a living room, it's called an art gallery. So
that's definitely a gal thing. Now, on the opposite side, you have guys like me. My living room has a bench press, a treadmill, and vintage video games, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mat. So definitely funny how different choices are.
This is our gallery. It adds some more fun stuff. This is a Leonardo Drew, another Radcliffe Bailey.
It's like a sculpture of a donkey with a some type of trunk on his back, and then below it is a bunch of cotton.
Doors are actually from Nepal.
That's pretty fancy. You got Nepal doors. And this went pretty like a 4.5 million views as well as 115,000 likes. Which, again, I can't help but think, well, kind of rude of her to actually pick the plant. So she did actually, in the video, pick the cotton. If you're only watching or if you're listening on the Spotify, or as I like to mispronounce it, Spotify. Normal people call it Spotify, but Spotify or Apple Podcast. You missed the visualization of her actually going up to the hotel's property, their plant, and picking the cotton off of it. Which, again, is rude. You're not supposed to do that. It's like when a kid goes up to a flower and picks some of the petals off at a hotel. Come on. You're damaging the hotel's property. I'm pretty sure she also didn't put that cotton back. She's also a thief. And I'm a little tongue-in-cheeky there. I know it's not worth more than not even 28 cents in terms of cotton ball. But again, it's a cotton plant at a hotel. Who cares? And it's a hotel that's nice enough to have a real plant. That's saying something. That's how you know she's got money. Obviously, she's also a very accomplished, famous tennis player. But yeah, she's just trying to make a ruckus or make a problem when there's not a problem. It's a real plant at a hotel in the hotel hallway. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe everyone is in agreement with her saying, oh, yes, it's terrible. Got to change this for dandelions or I don't know what fancy people like in hotels. Roses? Who knows? Now, one of the first comments comes to us thanks to Sputnik, saying, quote, you literally cannot make this up. They do whatever they think will get them views at the time, getting 186 likes. Alan Rugg says, so rich that she forgot about the art in her own home, which, yeah, there's an up-close picture of the donkey with all the cotton, getting 255 likes. Joshua Walker says, quote, oh, look, another late-term social justice warrior, just what America needs, getting 143 likes. Alan Rugg responded saying, quote, she needs to get that sculpture out of her house ASAP, getting 82 likes. Arthur Eagleman says, quote, she has serious issues, getting 618 likes. Was he ratioed? Nope. There's an AI-generated picture of her in a cotton robe, getting 4 likes, though. Let's see. No Context Meme says she saw it and she picked it. There's a famous, I need to find out what movie this is from. It's like half the memes out there. It's the two guys laughing very hard. That got 2.1 thousand likes. You also have No Context Memes with the William Wonka, Gene Wilder meme where it says, is everything to you about race? You are probably racist, getting 955 likes. Don Satterfield has the meme of the guy or the father pointing out and his son next to him says, look, son, an attention whore, getting 308 likes. Jeez Louise. The Deplorable Millennial, I mean, A+ for marketing in terms of accurate. This Deplorable Millennial has a picture of someone holding a cotton plant and says, how to ask a black girl to prom, getting 204 likes. You also have Ice Fiend saying, quote, then the cotton yelled, this is MAGA country, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Let's see. This person's logo or their name is just a crown, but their hashtag is here for the VK18. It's a picture of Clint Eastwood, and the meme says, quote, listen up here, Snowflake. I'll have to do a Clint Eastwood accent. It'll probably be the worst ones you hear all year, but I will make the attempt. Are you feeling lucky, punk? Do ya? Now listen up here, Snowflake, and let this sink in. I never owned any slaves, and you never picked any cotton. Here ends the lesson. I don't know you shit. Getting 124 likes, and perhaps a like from you in the comment section for the worst Clint Eastwood accent of all time, debatably. Rolling down more and more. You have PP saying, does she wear cotton? Does she wear cotton? Does she wear clothes made of cotton? I was going to say, when I first, again, like, case in point, not enough people subscribed. When I first started the show, barely anyone subscribed, well, maybe family. And I started, I spoke faster than Ben Shapiro and stuttered worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I've become slightly better at speaking. Some might say barely at all, though I'd argue, statistically speaking, but there has been some speaking improvement. This leads to my theory. If you click that subscribe button, the more people that click it, the better I'll get at speaking and someday make it through an entire episode perfectly. So don't forget to click that button and tell your friends and your enemies. Your enemies might be so enamored and impressed by your choice in podcast material, they then become your best friend. Or they hate me so much, they then hate you even greater, and then it becomes a physical altercation. Either way, make for a funny story to suggest my show to an enemy. You never know. Why not have a funny story? Now, that also got 695 likes. Is a picture of some, in this case, a picture is white people picking cotton. It says, does she wear clothes made of cotton? This is ridiculous. White folks pick cotton too. My descendants. that got 695 likes. H has a picture of the guy in a suit. It looks almost like JD Vance. It says, I don't give a shit what you called it, getting 272 likes. Going down more and more. Yeah, Washington's Ghost says, living like this has to be exhausting, getting 279 likes. Spitfire, who's looks like she's I follow her already. She's usually in the comment section. Her hashtag is #DogRightGirl, and she describes herself as feisty AF, dogs rule all, heavy on snark and sarcasm, America first. Now she says, quote, I get offended every time I see crackers at the restaurant, getting 1,000 likes, which Lord knows she's going to be pretty irate. She goes to the Cracker Barrel. We also have Flav Trop saying boo-hoo, and it says, well, this is a meme, I don't know if it's real, but it says Serena Williams' net worth is $300 million, getting 12 likes, which, yeah, I can't imagine. Now, again, that net worth is also a mixture. It's not just liquid cash in the bank. It's, investments, housing, yada, yada. I can't imagine having a net worth of $300 million and taking time to care about a plant in a hallway of a hotel. Now, again, maybe she's just doing this for accolades or cultural enhancement of her image to the people that like her, and that'll also find it offensive that there's Scott in the hallway. But yeah, personally, I don't think the average consumer cares what plant is in the hallway these days at a hotel. Actually, I don't know how many people can even afford to pay for a hotel these days, but yeah, let me know. Do you think the average person cares that there's a cotton plant in a hotel for display? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have one of the Des Moines, Iowa school leaders was actually, caught by ICE because he was here illegally. Now, this brought to us thanks to End Wokeness. And he says, quote, holy shit, Ian Andre Roberts, who's in charge of the Des Moines Public School District, has been arrested by ICE. He's an illegal evading deportation with a gun, which at least he did suit up for the occasion, so he looks fancy.
Thank you, Madam President. I stand here this evening before you with immense gratification and certainly a sense of pride and humility. I am incredibly grateful for the vote of confidence that the board has shown. It was clear.
And he's gone. And I got 3.2 million views and 62,000 likes. And it's another instance of illegal immigration is not just crossing the border illegally. In many instances, like this right here, he actually came here on a student visa, and he overstayed it, stayed here illegally, and then he got in a little bit of trouble. Now, again, in terms of, helping out the community, he was leading school districts. That's a good thing. But he was here illegally. He stole that opportunity from people who are here legally, not just born here, but came here legally, did the paperwork, and been contributing. He stole someone's opportunity. That's terrible. He broke the law, and of course, leftists are very irate. How could they possibly arrest him? He also has a gun charge. Now, granted, I'm kind of libertarian when it comes to firearms, but nevertheless, they got 63,000 likes. Now, End Wokeness clarifies, saying, quote, Roberts overstayed a visa from 1999. He was also arrested on weapons charges in 2020, elected district management superintendent in 2023. He deportation order for him since 2024, evaded arrest by ICE in 2025. Yeah, Andre Roberts is the man in charge of the largest public school district in Iowa. WTF is happening. How is this real? Which, again, I think is actually more common than he thinks, and Wokeness thinks. Again, that's one of the biggest ways of illegal immigration is people overstaying visas. Friendly reminder, there's like 50 million people in the United States on visas right now, which is crazy considering Americans, there's more than one unemployed American. One would think they would have the opportunity for the jobs first, but that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. And here's a couple pictures of him. That got 10,000 likes. Now, likely homeless, which I'm actually going to follow that. It's a pretty good name. And who the heck doesn't feel that way these days? Now, he says, quote, man, I get it. He's here illegally, but he's been here for 26 years and is now the superintendent of a school system. Are these the people we should be targeting, or should we be working out a way for them to become legal and then worrying about some illegals committing actual crimes? Now, that did get 230 likes, but he's ratioed by Tang Wang, says, quote, this actually means you don't get it. UD1 says, so the message is you evade arrest for 20 years and then you'll be okay? Getting 275 likes. Yep. Coffee Anonymous says, quote, are these people we should be targeting? Yes. We should probably also deport anyone who defends him, getting 322 likes. Joe Rising says, are you serious? The criminal took a good job away from an American, getting 144, speaking 145 likes. Yep. John says, yes, an illegal alien are by definition criminals. Deport them all, getting 17 likes. Daniel Boone's gorilla. I know he had a gorilla. Nevertheless, Daniel Boone's alleged gorilla says, quote, I hereby revoke your ability to vote. You have shown an inability to think critically and a disdain for the American people. From this moment forward, you'll be assigned the label of persona non grata, and we revoke your citizenship at its earliest convenience, getting 97 likes. Mad Max says he's a felon, getting 21 likes. No Name says, no, he's a criminal, running an effing school. He's around children. Hell no. If I had a kid at that school, I'd be livid. He's been here for 26 years. Way more than enough time to become legal. 62 likes. Yep. Let's see. Mark Adrian says, quote, we should be targeting any illegal indiscriminately. And yes, a guy on a flippant weapons charge who runs a school system. How are you for this? Game 44 likes. Yeah. Also said, quote, well, this might be it wasn't the most liked response to him, but it was the most handsome one. Me, the Topping Show. And I say, quote, he also stole an opportunity from someone following the law to have that role in the school system, getting 2 likes. Libercat Media TM says, quote, just saying, for a party that hates guns so much, they sure do have a lot of them, getting 639 likes. X Van Fleet, a very good person to follow. Literally, his name is spelled X Van Fleet. He is a famous individual who escaped communism in China. He says, quote, from an illegals to superintendent, the American dream mocked, getting 376 likes. Yep. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, how does this even happen? Getting 1.4 thousand likes. Well, it's by design. I mean, the same way how California had gave a record number of CDLs and driver's license to illegals. Leftists don't care about citizenship. They want more illegals here. That's why the Biden administration had a default open border. You also have Libercat Media TM saying, quote, only a Democrat would be okay with a criminal illegal with a handgun being in charge of the school's children. Getting 267 likes. I'm sorry, it's just a gun. I inserted the word handgun. The conservative alternative says, quote, DEI in a nutshell, it puts unqualified people in position of power who have absolutely no business being there. In this guy's case, he had absolutely no business being in the country even. But here we are, getting 396 likes. Base Electrician, great to see him in the comments again, says, which one is more qualified to be the superintendent of our school? There's him in this just positioned with I thought it was a famous reporter in Uganda. But see, if you ever see the meme, it's a guy who was interviewing someone who was gay, or I believe cross-dresser or transsexual, and he goes, white. He famously says in his accent, which I will attempt to do, but I probably won't do it well. Heads up. He goes, white or you gay? Which, actually, that might about be the worst impression all year. Not say much, but nonetheless, Paul Zupa also says, quote, excellent news. Keep deporting these foreign criminals who've been evading accountability. That's what we voted for, getting 339 likes. Ema Chong gives actually some background. Now he says, quote, on September 26, 2025, Dr. Ian Andrew Roberts, a superintendent of Des Moines Public School, was arrested by ICE near a school. An illegal immigrant from Ghana who overstayed his 1999 student visa, Roberts faced a 2024 deportation order and allegedly fled during the arrest, leaving behind a loaded Glock 19, a knife, and $3,000 in his vehicle. His lack of work authorization has raised questions about the school district's hiring processes. The discovery of the firearm, illegal for undocumented illegal individuals, has intensified scrutiny, with ICE calling it a wake-up call for public safety. Roberts, the first person of color in his role, led Iowa's largest school district since 2023, focusing on equity. He is now in custody of Potawatomi County Jail, pending deportation proceedings. The DMPS board appointed Mike Smith as acting superintendent to ensure the stability for 30,000 students. Educators expressed shock, while Governor Kim Reynolds coordinates with authorities, getting 365 likes. Cash Loren simply says, how the heck is an illegal in charge of a school district? Getting 25 likes. We also have Nevada Liberty memes. It says, has a King of Deportation says, I support DEI, deport every illegal, getting 456 likes. Let's see. Oh, that's a good quote. I don't know who originated the quote, but this is from Runner Tushar. It says, quote, the devil does not enter through the front door. He comes through the cracks in the foundation. Getting 555 likes. Spitfire says, how in the hell are illegals allowed to be this deep into a leadership position? Getting 1.4 thousand likes. Well, usually by marrying their brother. Like as a burn for Representative Ilhan Omar. Let's see. Scrolling down more and more. You have this is a screenshot from the Des Moines Register, which is also a fun factor. If you're from Iowa, you know it's pronounced Des Moines. If you're outside of Iowa, people mispronounce it, calling it Des Moines, which fun fact of the day, I suppose. And this is a screenshot from the Des Moines Register. It says 35 Iowa schools rank in bottom. 5% included 12 in Des Moines. School report says, whoops, got 146 likes. Jesus. So apparently, again, this is another screenshot. They don't give me the date, but I see it is from the Des Moines Register. And it says, quote, the district still sits among the top 20 highest paid superintendents in Iowa at number 16. Superintendent Ian Roberts made $305,917 in salary and benefits in the 2024 to 2025 school year. $305,000, let's round up. $306,000, that's insane. Now, granted, that includes benefits like healthcare, yada, yada, but still, over $250,000. And did they not do a background check? Jeez, that's ridiculous. So even in Iowa, I'm not surprised. And again, I think, again, Trump did win the popular vote. I think more than 50% of all Americans would support the deportation of this individual. But let me know your thoughts in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Hyundai recalling nearly 600,000 vehicles. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Greta Cross, who's a writer at USA Today. And she says, quote, Hyundai recalls nearly 600,000 vehicles. See impacted models below, which, not great news. Now, they say, quote, they recalled more than 500,000 of them for potential seatbelt failures. Whoops. And 30,000 for defective electronic vehicle charging port doors. Now they say, quote, Hyundai Motor America announced a recall of 568,850 2020 to 2022 Palisade vehicles for a seatbelt buckles in the driver, passenger, and second row seats that might fail to latch. Whoops. How do you mess that up? Now, granted, I'm no rocket scientist. However, I do know how to use a seatbelt. It is perhaps one of the simplest mechanisms in the entire vehicle. Granted, the computer, a lot of them, I got multiple computers. It's pretty complicated. Especially with software these days. I understand why there's so many software recalls in vehicles. These car companies becoming car companies, they're becoming tech companies. I understand. They need a lot of software updates, a lot of fixes. I understand that. But seatbelt? Come on. Like, do you not do a simple check with your subcontractor? Because again, these vehicles have between 10 and 30,000 components. Very complex. I understand there's going to be some issues. And the company, whether it be General Motors or Ford or Hyundai or Kia, usually the company will make the drivetrain, a lot of the main components, and they'll have, a lot of subcontractors like Bosch being one of the most famous ones for electrical components, if I could enunciate today. And I understand, got to test all of them. Sometimes things get slipped through the cracks, but this is a simple and important safety feature. It's like, whoops, seatbelt buckle might just not latch. Really? Now, they note that, quote, as of September 11th, Hyundai was aware of 546 reports of defective seatbelt latches in outlined vehicles, according to the National Highway Safety Administration. Now, silver lining is that the reports did not involve crashes, injuries, or fatalities. So, again, it's good they got ahead of the situation when it comes to this recall. They also know that they recalled 31,042 of the 2023 to 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 6 electric vehicles for the charging port doors that might detach, which again, how do you have a door just fall right off? Is this a Ford product? I mean, I'm only partially kidding. It's not that bad. Again, Ford's had 115 recalls of the year, which is a record, with the latest recall, or one of them being literally trim pieces just falling off while you're driving, which maybe they didn't want to pay for the nice 3M adhesive. But getting back to Hyundai, they note that, quote, Hyundai estimates that both recalls, only about 1% of the manufactured vehicles were affected by the defects. But again, you still got to check it out. Now they're saying, what do you do? Until replacement, Hyundai advises drivers and passengers to insert the safety belt firmly into the belt and with a quick and direct motion, pull at it to check if it's secured, which, I mean, that's a pretty simple check. They know that Hyundai dealers will inspect and replace the seatbelt as necessary for free, which, yeah, that's what happens with every recall. That's not unique to Hyundai. But the issue is obviously, your time, your money, your energy. You got to go to the dealership. Depending on how long it takes, maybe you have to have the car there multiple days. So you got to worry about getting a loaner vehicle. Now, thankfully, this isn't a Ford, so it won't be, most likely the dealership is going to give you a Ford to drive. So, so we're relying for this situation. But yeah, over 500,000 vehicles because they didn't do a proper safety check for the seatbelt mechanism. Now, again, they estimate less than 1% affected, but still, 1% of the big number, still a big number, but this still has over about 600,000 people that take the car all the way to the dealership and have to deal with the frustrating issue, which, again, no one likes going to dealerships. So I gotta say, Hyundai, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.